Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Okay, for those of you who are joining us for resort management, going to try something a little bit different today. I have Dr. Mosley join us. He's going to help me go through the lecture for you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And today in resort management, we're going to talk about retail.
Merchandising.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it's kind of interesting. Resorts are a really interesting part of hospitality in that they have everything. So resort management is more complicated. So yeah, you've got hotels, but you've also got golf courses, and you've got separate restaurants, and you've got clubs, and you've got real estate, and you have retail.
Yeah. And pretty much you
So
don't need to leave the resorts to have a good time for
and,
anything.
and that's the idea. Is the resort wants to keep you on premise spending money all the time.
Well, you can't spend money on the resort if you're not on the resort.
Yeah. So I don't want you to have, if you have to leave to go buy a golf shirt, that's money I'm not getting. So I should sell a golf shirt.
Yep. If you got a
So,
golf course and you're not selling golf shirts, you're probably wrong.
all right. Let's see. We'll skip through this. We'll get to all these learning objectives as we cross them. Okay. So the first thing is like, why? We'll talk about motivations. Um, what motivates a tourist or a guest at your resort to buy things? Probably the two big ones are nostalgia and prestige. So one, nostalgia. These remind you of where you've been.
Think of
How
all
many
those hard rock shirts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's like, how many t-shirts do you have from places you've been, or shot glasses, or pennants, or, these little tokens that remind you of being there?
My wife has a magnet collection that just drives me crazy. So what can I say?
Yeah. And so that's one of the the mementos of these trips. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the common reasons people buy. And the other is prestige. So it's kind of like, I want to show off where I went and what I did. Look at this cool thing I bought. Look at this art. Look at this
Yeah.
thing that shows how wealthy and sophisticated I am.
Well, I bought it from Sea Island, so
Exactly. And why
yes,
do they have the big Sea Island logo on there?
yeah, because they know that people will use it as a status symbol.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are two of the big motivations for why people shop when they're on vacation, why they're at resorts, why tourists shop. Some of the others, functionality. I am at a vacation spot. I'm at the resort, and I need something.
I
So
mean,
like,
it's not really shocking that you put a shirt up here, Dr. Robertson, because it seems like every time we eat together, you are spilling something on your shirt. And that
I find
happens
that comment completely unnecessary, even if it's true.
but it's stuff like that. You didn't plan for something. You go out and you get, you fall into the creek at Yellowstone or something, and you need another shirt.
Well, I put this T-shirt up here to remind me. For instance, the first time I went out west. I went to Yellowstone, and I'm a hillbilly from South Georgia. I don't know anything. It's late June, early July that I'm in Yellowstone. So, I'm from South Georgia, so I've got on shorts and a T-shirt. I get to Yellowstone and it's snowing, and I mean it's snowing. I am from South Georgia. I just left, basically here, and I get there and it's snowing. I am completely unprepared. So I didn't have a huge amount of money, but I bought a insulated poncho to stay warm. And that's the functionality. I got to the place and I needed something. And
You're like a child lost in the woods. You had no frame of reference about what it would be like.
yeah, none. And it was a mess, but fortunately I was able to afford to buy a poncho and an insulated poncho that so I had my Yellowstone poncho that I wore because it was functional. And then the other shopping motivation is gifts, that we buy things for our family and friends. Say, hey, look at this cool thing I got for you just because I like you.
Well, exactly. I have a mug in my office from Yellowstone because a friend went there and wanted to give me a memento of their trip.
Yeah. And so those are all reasons why,
Mhm.
these are the motivations we need to think about and plan for when we're laying out our resort retail. These
Well,
are the
but this
these are
is
the types
important,
of items.
yeah, for us to make it accessible to the consumers to get attracted to it as well. These are
Yeah.
impulse buys that just mean extra money and revenue for us. So if everybody's buying a sticker that says, those marathon sticker type things, or the ones that have right now it's this,
26.2 or
yeah, or Sea Island, St. Simon's has one that's SSI, right?
yeah.
And do they need to sell it? No, but it's an extra little impulse buy that people will buy, that if you didn't have, it's just money that's walking out the door.
Right. Right. And as far as functionality goes, if I have a small store in a retail shop in a resort, one thing you should have a phone charger, because
Oh,
somebody's going to forget there's a need to buy it.
well, phone chargers, those little battery things that the battery bank. I got so many around here that I can't even find them, but I'll buy that. And these little things, these little chargers that you plug into your car, because when you rent a car, you're not thinking about it.
Right.
And if it doesn't have a USB charger, yeah,
Those are the sorts of things that motivate guests.
yeah.
Then there are also what are termed altruistic reasons, where you're buying something to benefit the place you're visiting. Like you're going to the place, and this is a fundraiser for that place. It generates money, generates income for that place. So you buy something, you buy your memorial T-shirt, you buy something, and it helps that place preserve. And so I've got two pictures here from a place called the Shawshank Wood Shop, which is in Ohio, where the movie The Shawshank Redemption was filmed. And the story is the couple on the right. This is Bill and April Mullins, and they're with Morgan Freeman, and they became friends with Morgan Freeman. But they filmed the movie The Shawshank Redemption in the little town in Ohio where they're from. And these guys, they loved their hometown, and they wanted to restore the courthouse, and they were trying to find a way to raise money. So they actually bought the wood shop where this part of the movie was filmed. You can see on the other picture, there's Morgan Freeman standing in the wood shop, and set it up as a tourist attraction. And all the receipts, all the money that comes in from people visiting here, all the T-shirts, all that was used to raise money to restore the courthouse in their small town. And so you go there and you buy the T-shirt, and that is used to help preserve this place.
And this is the Shawshank Redemption is huge on that, the impact that it's had on that small town. If you look at even the Jekyll Island, there was a movie there filmed called Bagger Vance. And at the Jekyll Island Club, they had a bar. Well, the bar was a temporary stage prop, but so many people came there looking for it that they ended up building it into it, so that way people could come and have a drink where Bagger Vance was filmed. Sorry, it's a little off from retail, but
no, that's okay. Another one, there's the Harrington School on St. Simon's Island, which is a historic Black elementary school from the turn of the century. And you can go in there and you can buy a T-shirt. And if you buy that T-shirt, that helps pay their cost of staying open and pays their bills for them. So, that's altruistic reasons why tourists often buy things. So where do tourists go when they buy things? So there's souvenir shops, and these are the places that sell things kind of, that are indicative of the region. So like, you go to one of the islands around here, there will be a shop not too far from the beach where you can buy beach towels and hats and all the little trinkets that'll say St. Simon's Island, Golden Isles, that sort of stuff on it. What were you saying, Matt?
Oh, here it's going to be the souvenir shops fill that need where you didn't bring a swimsuit or your flip-flops busted, so you can buy a cheap pair there, but they're probably branded with whatever.
Right.
On a resort, it's going to be a little bit higher quality typically.
You also have supermarkets where people are buying things, clothing stores, malls, and even the malls. A lot of them have become tourist attractions in their own. If you want, you can go into these slides, and there's a a hyperlink here for malls, and it'll take you to a short 2-minute video about Mall of America.
Yeah. In my home state, the Sioux Empire Mall was the top attraction. It beats out Mount Rushmore for the amount of tourists that it attracts each year. It may have changed since the early 2000s, but yeah, malls definitely attract people sometimes.
Yeah, more people visit Mall of America than visit Disney.
That's insane. But
yeah.
I've been to Mall of America and I've been to Disney, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then also shopping festivals. So these are just some of the different venues that tourists can visit to buy things.
So shopping festivals are like what? The stuff over underneath the Oaks over here in St. Simons?
Yeah, that would be a good example. When we had
farmers
like
markets,
craft shows and things like
shows? Okay.
Yeah, things like that. All right. Let's see. Do I need to stop and go back and redo that?
No, you just click back. Yeah, just like normal.
Okay. All right. So another one, airport shopping is, tourists, this is another area they encounter when they're shopping. And so this is both before and after they go through check-in. And so like, we've got the image down here of the Brooks Brothers store, and you see these in airports all over the country. Yeah. And why are they there? Well, one, they have a captive audience. You're stuck in the airport for maybe hours at a time. Mm-hmm. And two, you're traveling. It's, oh crap, I forgot to pack a tie. I forgot to pack a shirt. I have bought socks, ties, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, in airport shopping, it's not really mentioned here right now, but international travel, the shopping is pretty important because it's duty free, which means it's tax free.
Yeah,
we're getting to that.
Yeah, there's a duty free.
Oh, geez, I'm jumping ahead of you. I'm sorry, boss.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But yeah,
and and other things. Again, the type of shopping that they do is you're in the airport. It's like, I forgot my phone charger, and so they even have vending machines that will dispense with electronics and things like that. See, duty free.
Duty free. And duty free is huge because I've done a lot of international traveling and I love the duty free shops.
What is a duty free shop, Matt?
So a duty free shop is pretty much usually higher end products. It can be alcohol and tobacco too, which my father-in-law likes. I don't highly recommend, but once you get past an international check-in point, you're gonna have to show your passport and all that stuff in your ticket. It means that you're gonna be traveling. And
you're in the airport.
You're in the airport. You're not able to get back out and go back in, and you have access to these special shops where you're going to get things tax free. My wife loves buying makeup whenever she travels because it's cheaper for her then. But she also buys a lot of gifts. So she's going back home. She will ask all of her relatives, hey, what do you need me to pick up while I'm at this duty-free shop on my way out of the gate?
So. Yeah, and for instance, with alcohol and tobacco, the tax on tobacco is actually, depending on where you are, 400 or 500%.
Yeah, so, it's pretty high.
Yeah, so they can, and these are areas where you don't have to pay tax, so they can have a huge markup, and it's still a lot cheaper than you can buy it anywhere else.
Right, you are.
Yeah, they're craft villages. I've got a picture here of a craft. This is actually an Amish village in Ohio, and it's Millersburg, Ohio. The whole town is basically Amish stores where you go in and buy furniture and handicrafts and things like that. Then also, we just have some other things, museums. Every museum has a gift shop. Any kind of heritage site, even, you go to Fort Frederico on St. Simon's Island, you can buy a bumper sticker or something. Wineries and distilleries, all these places provide shopping opportunities for tourists. And if you are a resort, you've got to either work with them or you're competing against them or something, but you have to be aware.
Well, and that's an important part to bring up there, is that you want to work with these places if you know that there's these options out there. Now, whether it's that you will They can order these goods from your location and you can deliver them to their room. Because sometimes when you're going out to a winery or a distillery or in these special places, you might not want to carry that stuff around all day.
Right.
Right. You got to get creative with your options here.
Yeah, and so maybe the resort has the service where you can buy things on premise, and they'll deliver them to your room for you, perhaps, or something like that. Let's see. So
the layout's important, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. So we've got the some things that impact how well you're going to do. Kind of like this is basic retail management here. These are the things that you need to be aware of, and you need to manage. You need to think about in order for your retail operation to be successful. And each one of these has their own slide, but it's like the layout design of your facility, the merchandising. How do you make this stuff look attractive? The customer segment, who you're going after, and then
how they're all interrelated. I mean, really, if you don't have the right merchandising, it doesn't matter how good your layout and design is.
And that's the thing. It's like, if I'm selling a ton of stuff in retail, that's a little bit of pressure off of me for, say for F&B, that I can, if I'm making a ton off of the pro shop at the golf course, that takes some of the pressure off of having to fill every tee time, that all these things work together. So the layout and design. One thing the layout design does, this can dictate how much time people spend in the store. And the longer someone stays in the store, the more likely they are to buy. The best example I can think of this, think about IKEA.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. It's like a maze. It's like a maze.
It is intentionally a maze.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going in IKEA and I want to buy, a set of glasses, but I've got to walk past the couches and I've got to walk past the placemats and I've got to walk past the plants
and then I have to go pick up all my stuff at the end. And don't forget that you get distracted with the food court in the middle. I mean, who doesn't love a meatball?
Yeah. Or a cinnamon roll.
The cinnamon rolls.
So so the layout is the longer you can keep people engaged on the premise, the more money they're likely to spend. There are lots of, IKEA is kind of an extreme example with how they lay out.
Grocery stores, if you think about it, milk and eggs are usually in butter in the back, and those are usually the staples that people are going to run out of pretty quickly and need to buy. So they put them in.
You got to walk past everything else to get there.
Yeah, and of course the things on the end of the aisles are going to sit there and try to grab your attention, right? They're going to have the nice big sign that makes you think it's a better deal than it is.
So you should set up your retail so that like the customer is drawn to something that pulls them in the door. And then once they get in, it's like they look over and like, here's another thing that pulls them in deeper. And then, and from there they can see, this one pulls them in deeper. So it kind of leads, it's like you're pulling them in to discover your store. And you should set it up that way. The more interaction you can have between shopper and employee, I mean, this is why we have greeters. It's like that interaction with the employee creates a feeling of obligation to buy something. It's like, okay, I'll buy something. Once you go in and talk to a human being.
Yeah.
And also the important thing about service quality, the longer the shopper has to wait in line, no matter how good the experience is, the lower they rate the quality.
Nobody wants to wait to pay to leave and to get on with their day. Right. They've been there, they've done their shopping, they decided to spend the money. Now you don't want to inconvenience them to give you their money.
Yeah. I'm done. I want to go home. Let's get this over with. Let's see. So some of the things about layout, so we want to lay it out so that things can be seen from, like if you're standing in front, you can see a lot. You don't want to put everything in a line because that way the things will be blocked. So the things that are in front of it block your ability to see the things that are behind it. So you want to set things offset so that everything can kind of be viewed as customers move through. And you want to think about the areas where people are most likely to notice. which is more or less eye level.
Yeah, so is there a reason why candy's always about eye height for children?
Yeah, I think there may be.
I don't know.
That the most profitable items in your facility should be at eye level. So people come in, bam, it's right there. If we talk about resorts, resort specifically, if you ever go in a casino, notice the carpet. The carpet will be incredibly garish with patterns that are actually pretty unpleasant. And the whole idea is that they don't want you looking down at the carpet. They put incredibly ugly carpet so you'll look up. So you're looking at eye level where the games are.
And I just thought that they had a really bad designer. Who knew?
Yeah, it's all intentional.
Yeah.
So other things, we're all social animals, and we tend to be attracted to other people. So the things that we want to get people to focus on, we should put near employees. So if we have signage that we want people to see, or we have items that we want to feature to be, that are profitable that we want to sell, that should be placed near employees as much as possible. That's why a lot of things are placed near the cash registers.
Yeah. Your random magazines and, the single sodas, which you can charge more for than if they bought a 12-pack.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to design it so you have flow so people can move through. I mean, that's one of the things I am kind of a bull in a china shop. I'm always nervous if I go in a store and there are a bunch of displays and it's tight and I can't move easily through the store. It makes me tense. All I want to do is get out. So you should think about visitor flow through your facility.
Make them comfortable, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be playing punk rock music loud and fast because you don't want them to get in and get out.
Yeah, and also there are certain rules you can accept when you're designing your space. And one is most people are right-handed. And since most people are right-handed, they tend to veer to the right when they enter a store. So if you think about grocery stores, take advantage of this. When you walk in a grocery store, the items that are for sale are usually placed to your right. These are profitable items. You go in Publix, you have to turn to the right, go through the sale area.
So sneaky. So sneaky.
Almost if the same way you go in the front door of Winn-Dixie, there is a sale counter right there to your right. So these are things that good retail design should take advantage of.
Well, in the last point, the souvenir shop, if you think about Disney, Universal, or any place where you just get off a ride, to get out of that ride, you're going through a souvenir shop every single time.
Yeah, what's the first line here say?
Yeah, I know, but it's the last one there too. But yes, exactly. There will be more sales. How about that?
Yeah, you place the sale things, you place the gift shops, you place those things by the exit. As also it's easy, when I go to a museum or something like that and I'm leaving, that's when I start thinking about buying stuff. I don't want to buy something I have to carry it around with me.
No.
Because if I'm in Disney, I'm not going to buy 4 t-shirts and then walk around trying to go to rides all day. But if you put it by the exit, yeah.
Exactly.
And also, you want to, and you can, if you can make it so that the guests have access to a basket or some way to carry their items, they're more likely to buy more. If you have to carry it in your arms, you're less likely, you're going to buy what you can carry.
Well, that was one of the strategies of Walmart not too long back. They got rid of the hand carry baskets, so you had to push a cart. Because psychologically, when you see a cart that's not so full, you're not thinking you're spending as much.
Right.
You're carrying a small basket. Likewise.
Yeah. So merchandising is the idea of making the space attractive. So all your items should be visible. You don't want to have to dig through behind things to find. This is I'll tell you something personal about me. I hate TJ Maxx. I hate TJ Maxx.
You are not a Maxxinista. I am shocked. No. Shocked, I tell you.
Because I hate having to dig around to try and find something. You go in there. The other thing I hate about it is you have to stand in line for 45 minutes while they take the hangers out of everything. It's either just give me the hanger or don't put the hangers in it. But but anyhow, you want to design it so that things are visible. And, that's what I don't like about TJ Maxx. You have to dig around to find things.
Who knew that being easier to find what you want will make you want to buy it more? Or if there's something that I don't know that I want and I walk by and I see it, I'm more likely to stop and examine it than if it's hidden.
Yeah, and it should be inviting. It should look nice. It should be pleasant. It shouldn't be crowded. It shouldn't make me nervous to be in there. It should look nice.
I agree.
Just a rule of thumb: if you can get people to buy things, people generally come in for one or two items. But it's the third item there that'll keep them in the store making that decision.
Yeah, that's where TJ Maxx gets my wife, the dog section, I tell you. Next thing you know, we're spending hundreds of dollars.
Okay. So, resorts are having to compete with other retail places. And in the past, the pro shop kind of had a monopoly on selling golf equipment. If you needed a golf club, you needed a golf ball, you needed spikes, you went to the pro shop. But now I can go to Dick's Sporting Goods. You can go all over the place and you're able to buy these things. So one of the ways that resorts have responded to this is now they offer logoed clothing. So especially around here, how many golf shirts do you see with a Sea Island logo on them?
Yeah.
This
Exactly.
is a way for them to kind of differentiate themselves and create something special for someone to buy.
But that ties in the whole prestige thing that we were talking about earlier as well. They want to be able to show off, hey, look where I got this from, without saying directly like, well, I went to Sea Island today and played 18 holes.
Yeah.
They can just show it subtly and, that humble brag.
Well, you're like me. It's like, hey, I found this Sea Island shirt at Goodwill today. And the more expensive an item is, generally the fewer of them we put on the floor. Just rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm. You want to give the perception that it's in high demand is basically what the thing is there.
Yep.
My sister-in-law will buy something if it's the last item there, and they could have 20 in the back. So, sorry.
So that, more on merchandising. Merchandising kind of, we're doing this idea if we make the space inviting and interesting and pleasant, we can get people to buy more. So we create these little environments or set pieces. Here I've got a picture in a resort where they're selling soap. And, you can tell clearly it's about soap because there are all these soaps out there, but they've made it very interesting and thematic. And it kind of explains, it's in a bathtub. They've got the towel there. It kind of explains what it's for, what it's about. And so we create these little mini environments and themes, and these will actually increase the amount of items that people purchase. A good merchandising environment should stimulate all five senses. So there should be something you hear. Think about if you've ever been in a Disney store. You go in, there's music. You go in, you smell it. All Disney stores smell like cookies. There are things that you can see, there's all the bright colors and things that you see when you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
There are things to touch and feel.
Well, yeah, it keeps you engaged. So that way you are unconsciously spending more time in it because you are getting distracted by something new or it's pleasant.
Yeah. And, also just take similar items and group them together to try and create vignettes. If we do this and we make things more attractive, we're actually more likely to get leisure shoppers to make impulse purchases. If it's attractive and it draws someone in and gets their attention, they smell the soap or the lotion, oh, that smells nice. I'm on vacation. I'll buy a bottle.
Well, there's a reason why stores in the mall will pump out scents to try to attract people in. So a Bed Bath Body Works or whatever it is will let the smell of scented candle go out into the mall to try to attract people in. Like, yeah, that's right. That smells good.
Yeah.
I want my place to smell good.
if you go to Las Vegas, every casino has a distinctive aroma, and they intend because the memory of smell is actually very strong.
I
So
thought it
they
was
try and
just
create these.
sadness. Sorry.
What?
I just thought it was sadness and sorrow that I lost all my money.
No, no. You go like when I was in the Monte Carlo, it smells kind of like a pina colada. When you go in the Aria, it smells like baking cinnamon rolls. When you go in the Bellagio, it
Yeah.
smelled like Italian bread.
No kidding.
Yeah, and
Oh.
so they have these distinctive smells because they're pleasant associations, and they're trying to encourage people to stay in the environment and buy things and gamble. Basically, you know, you want to keep your messages short to try and attract people in. If you have a more complicated message, put it near a person where they have to stand like a cash register. Let's see. Again, talking about the power of having things on the right, because most people are right-handed. That's the way they'll turn. You'll increase the amount you sell. Again, the premium space is going to be dead center eye level, so that's where you want to have your most popular and most profitable brand. And if you have something you're trying to push, put it to the right of the popular brand, because that's where people are going to look. Let's see. So again, like I mentioned, the more time that a customer spends talking to an employee or just interacting with an employee, the more likely they are to purchase something. So if you can create situations where there are those employee guest interactions, you're going to increase your sales. Yeah. Again, waiting time always makes people dissatisfied, and adding in interest to the environment with sounds or colors or lights, movement, things like that at the register will actually make the wait time more tolerable, and people are likely to rate the services better.
Well, that's why, not to bring it back to TJ, but they have their waiting area filled with different merchandise. It's something different in each little section that you're moving forward. So you can sit there and get distracted a little bit and not be annoyed that you're just waiting in line for the next checkout agent.
No, I'm just annoyed.
Yeah.
Just annoyed.
Not all of our Jedi mind tricks work on everybody. Yeah. So
other thing to keep in mind, we have different segments. So, you know, older people buy different things than younger people. Men shop differently than women. So just some differences are like men, they tend to move faster and spend less time looking. For me, shopping is a destination. I go, I purchase what I need, and I leave. I am not there to walk around and look at stuff.
I'm up, they see me, I'm down.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Less likely, let's see. They are less likely to look at a price tag and more often able to be upgraded to something expensive. Men, you know, it's a power thing maybe. Men like buying something expensive.
Yeah, it just has to have more power, and it's not a problem.
Yeah. And generally don't like asking where things are in the store.
No.
So again, lay the store out so that it can be easily understood. Now, women tend to spend more money when they're shopping with other women. So if you create a situation where you have a shopping destination, or you make it interactive, like it's a spa, it's like come in and get a spa treatment with your friends and a shopping trip, they're more likely to spend more money.
Sneaky, but brilliant. So remember that.
Yeah. They're also more demanding of the shopping environment. Like they want it to look nice. They want it to be stylish.
Yeah, I think based on the differences, men would really care less about how nice it looks as long as it's utilitarian.
Costco, Sam's Club.
Yeah, that's more my speed.
Yeah. Older shoppers. You know, as we get older, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever seen me with my glasses off. There's a reason for that. I can't see anything with my glasses off. Older shoppers, we need signs with we need large, easy to read signage. That makes it easier for someone who's older to buy things. You know, I'm willing to buy something, but you got to help me find it.
Well, and if you are younger and you don't know if your sign's easy to read, find yourself an older person, because fonts matter. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, black, white, and red are high contrast. They're easier to see. So like, if you do something in pink or pale blues or all, it kind of blurs together. But the high contrast colors, black, white, and red, easier for older people to see. And then brightly lit stores.
Mm-hmm.
You want somewhere, again, where it's easy to navigate the environment, easy to see what's in there.
Makes sense to me.
Children. Okay, if as someone who's had kids, I don't want to go into a store that has a bunch of little breakable stuff in it that is not put away.
I don't
if it's not
understand why
child
not.
friendly, I'm not going to go in there.
Yeah.
So making the space child friendly. So maybe merchandise for kids is appropriate that can't be broken, is easier to reach, but also the store is child proofed. Like they're not going to run into a glass shelf. They're not going to be able to grab a small breakable glass item, things like that.
Yeah. Well, and stores have been nice to parents. If you notice, for the most part, the toy section is in the back. So it doesn't distract the parents from not going to a certain grocery store, such as Walmart, just because they might run into that.
Yeah, and so creating an area for children is often a good idea because people staying in a resorts are family vacations often. You're going to have a larger group of people staying there than you would even in a hotel segment. So they're there with their kids. So creating things that are friendly for kids is a good idea.
Yeah, and if the parents don't have to worry about the children, they're not going to be in as big of a rush to get in and to get out of a location either.
Yeah. And as a member of Gen X, I feel uncomfortable talking about segmentation myself. So we'll call that a day for talking about retail and resorts.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Robertson. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining me, Matt.
All right. Bye.
Talk to you later. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and I'll be available next week on the D2L chat.